Hello, everyone. I hope you're having an amazing week. Yes, elephant in the room. This beautiful new accessory that I'm wearing is because of a little fall that I took yesterday. So don't be too distracted. Hopefully, I'm already starting to not notice it there, but maybe I'm going to have to get some cool, like Dora the Explorer Band-Aids or something to put on my forehead. What do you think? Okay, so hopefully you can still listen to me without looking at this. I thought about putting a toque on, but it's kind of cool, right? I'm rocking it. I'm just going to rock the Band-Aid and hopefully no scar. I wanted to jump in today and talk about actually something really important and something that has really come to light for me the more that I'm working one-on-one with clients, the more conversations I'm having, about sugar and about our relationship with food. And this is this whole topic around joy. So life is stressful. Life is busy, especially as women. We have all these extra responsibilities to have this full-time job, to be successful, then to look after the kids, then to cook, all the things, right? And I'm noticing this quest. We all have this serious quest for finding more joy in our day, finding more joy in our life, because amongst all the craziness, we're craving for it. We're starving ourselves of this joy. So now we're finding other ways to get this in our lives. And what I want to do in this video is really start this conversation. And I would love if you commented below and continue this conversation with me. But what I'm seeing time and time again is that we're using food, we as a population, and maybe you are using food right now to bring you this source of joy every day. And this used to be what I did too. I remember having horrible days at work, hating my job, maybe fighting with Ben, being cranky, and I would always use food to soothe, right? I would use food to bring me that happy feeling and to be that warm hug or that joy that I felt because the rest of my day had no joy in it. And this is really where I want to ask you a tough question because what I'm seeing and the clients that I've recently been working with is really getting to this point and asking yourself, and this is what I want you to ask yourself right now, and be real honest and open and listen to what your body says when I ask you this question. Is food and or sugar one of the only or maybe the main source of joy in your life? Are you in a place where everything around you does not bring you joy? And this food, this comfort is there for you every single day. At the end of the day, when you're finally alone and relaxing, that's your source of joy. And I want you to ask yourself this. Is this one of the only sources of real deep joy in your life? Real in quotation marks, because it's not. But it could feel that way. And I'm saying this because I used to be there. That used to be me. I remember working in that job I hated. Things weren't always the best in my relationship, and my friends were, not the best either. And that was my hit of joy every day. And that's very powerful to realize. And I don't want you guilting yourself or stressing yourself if your answer is yes, because you are not alone in that. I have clients who have realized this. And this is a powerful place to be, because really getting clear on it, if this is your only source of joy or you're one of your main sources of joy, you can start to realize and ask yourself if this is the fear of giving up your only joy in life that's actually holding you back from changing the way you eat, changing the way you live, because you're afraid to give up that only joy. No wonder it feels so hard and difficult to make any changes in your lifestyle or the way you're eating, because you don't want to give up the only joy in your life or the main source of joy. And that is, of course, terrifying. Obviously, why would anybody want to give that up? There's something that brings us the only hope and happiness and comfort. And I think that this is a bigger problem than I've ever realized. And literally, it's been the last couple of weeks, this has been percolating in my head as I've been having these conversations. And I think for so many of of us, or you, maybe you right now, this is what's really holding you back. And if you can get real honest with yourself about, wow, this is what's going on, this is why I always say awareness is the first step. Because when you can totally understand if this is what's going on for you, you can decide to shift it. Because really, the joy that we get from food is actually the joy that we get from sharing with others. The joy we get, around mealtime, the healthy kind of joy to get from food is sharing in food with others. And that joy is actually coming from the connection and the community, not the food itself. So we tend to get these dopamine hits, obviously, from horrible foods that are dragging our health down. And they're not real sources of joy. And this is where I want you to start today. I want to leave you with this. First of all, sit with and ask yourself that tough question and be honest with yourself. And hey, be honest with all of us, with me. I know I wasn't the only one that did this or that used food as the only source of joy when life was tough. And I know that because I work with clients who have admitted the same thing. And that is powerful because from there, the real motivation comes and you can decide to do something about it. Now, what can you do? Okay, maybe this is you. Maybe you're reflecting and going, wow, okay, yes, food is a big source of joy for me. And there's a lot of areas in my life that aren't going like I want them to be going. And this is what I'm using instead to cope. So I want to leave you with this. I want you to ask yourself, what else brings you joy? Or what else could bring you joy? Maybe you don't have it in your life right now, but in the past, what has brought you that true, amazing, light source of joy? And I want you to make a list. I want you to brainstorm at least 30 different items that bring you joy. And it doesn't have to be things that are in your life right now because maybe they're not there. But things that you know at your core make you that light and happy. And I want you to put those on paper. And I want you to share them in the comments below. That'd be incredible. There is your first step, is to really look at that list. Build that list, look at it, and decide next how you can build more of those sources of joy into your life. And this is the process I went through without even knowing that I was doing it. I'm looking back at it knowing that's what I did now. But it was this practice of removing food from being my joy and building more joy, real joy into my life, building better relationships and friendships, dancing, spending more time in nature, these other things that I used to never do that bring me so much joy. So now you can start to make that shift. How can you build those other sources of joy, those healthy sources of joy into your everyday? Okay. So I want to leave you with that. And I really would love if you help me keep this conversation going. And if you want to dive more into this for yourself, I would love to chat. Send me a PM or come on over to the link below and book a time to chat with me. We can dive into this for you. Nothing would make me happier. And of course, if you know anyone who could use some more joy or who struggles with this or you think this might really resonate with, please share this video. Share. Tag them below, whatever works for you. Please help me spread this message because I have no doubt that this is such a huge piece of where our addictions are coming from, where our fear of making changes and eating are coming from. It's really deeply rooted in this source of joy for so many of us. Of course, there's the emotional component behind it, which I talk about in other videos, but I think this is a big one. And this is a big conversation that I'm ready to start because I know I'm not alone. And I know there are so many of you out there right now who can relate to this and who want to change that. So let's do it. Let's change it. Let's change it through starting this conversation. Reach out if you want to chat to me and let's get it going. So what brings you joy? What else brings you joy? Let's get started with that. And I can't wait to hear from you in the comments. Bye, everyone.